Just on my walk. Not the peace walk, but a walk. Sunday is the start of the week, so we're gonna start it with some bars as I work my way back into live streaming. Man, I really took a break. I used to go hard at this shit, but I really took a break. Like a real break. Damn near a year and a half for real of like not really doing it, but yeah, I'm just on a walk, not the peace walk, but a walk. So today we're gonna talk about Law 2 of the 10 Laws of Accountability. Yesterday we talked about Law 1, which was everything is your fault even when it's not. So today we're going to discuss Law 2. And Law 2 of the 10 Laws of Accountability is you get what you put in. Okay? Law 1 is everything is your fault even when it's not. Law 2 is you get what you put in. So today is called reality check, but you get what you put in. So please smash the like button. Let me get cracking in the algorithm again, because since I haven't been live streaming, it's gonna take a second to trigger the algorithm. So when I came up with the 10 Laws of Accountability, I got tired of the 48 Laws of Power. You know, I was reading 48 Laws of Power since I was like 18. I was reading 48 Laws of Power since I was 18. So then I went on to like The Art of Seduction, 33 Strategies of War. Then you got like 10 Immutable Laws of Success. Basically, like all the classics. And then I noticed that the 48 Laws was like, everybody was on it. When I got on the 48 Laws of Power back in like 2002, right? That's when I was reading the 48 Laws of Power, 2002. When I got on it, 48 Laws of Power was like a jail book. It was a book that a lot of cats from jail used to read. And the 48 Laws was like, if you know, you know. It wasn't talked about in public like that because just the nature of the book, like you just didn't talk about that in the open that you read that kind of book. So then a couple years ago, I just noticed that the 48 Laws of Power was getting super popular. Like people was talking about it in the open, talking about the laws, talking about it, right? Art of Seduction, like Robert Greene up there as one of my favorite authors, just not just as an author, because it's just where he chooses to go with his books. Like he doesn't have a lot of books, right? What I appreciate about Robert Greene is he doesn't have a lot of shit, but it's so impactful, and like he approaches book writing from the perspective like a director. So what he's able to do with his books, I look at it like a James Cameron film. So he's ill. He's ill. So, but when the 48 Laws of Power started getting real popular, and people started really talking about it in the open, I know, number one, the book had fell into the wrong hands. What I mean by that is the 48 Laws of Power is a book that if you in corporate America and you in the streets and you're dealing in a very competitive environment where you competing for resources, that book is for you. The problem with the 48 Laws of Power is it fell into the wrong hands. And what I mean by that is you shouldn't do the 48 laws of power on your kids. Pose as a friend, work as a spy, never outshine the master, stuff like that. Like those books ain't, that's not for your love circle, right? So when I say the 48 laws of power fell into the wrong hands, it did. Because I think people started using it on their day-to-day. And it is a real manipulation game. For real, for real. And if you study it and you use it, the people that you're dealing with on a day-to-day, they don't know you using that shit on them. And they, goofy, being genuine or whatever. So I thought that the 48 laws of power was being used in the wrong areas, right? The 48 laws of power is not for your love circle. That's not nothing that you do on a day-to-day to me. So when I came up with the 10 laws of accountability, I'm like, yo, I think people are 48 laws of power drunk. So I wanted to create a framework, a different framework, like a system that was different, right? I wanted to develop a system that was totally personal. You know what I mean? And then it's crazy that the word accountability has just exploded. I never heard the word accountability used the way that it's used. And now it's just taken off and it's exploded. So I wanted to come up with a framework to operate with myself first, and then that people could use to maneuver, right? So I came up with the 10 laws of accountability, all right? So that's how I came up with it. So the thing about the 10 laws of accountability when I created it, I had to go live it out like a true artist, right? Sometimes the best artists create the art, then go live it, right? So the album might be on the shelf, right? You know what I'm saying? Or you live it, right? The stories of heartbreak, the stories of betrayal, the stories of loss, stuff like that. The best artist is like in the driver's seat of that shit. So the 10 laws of accountability is not theory. The 10 laws of accountability, I have proof of concept. I am the president and the client of it. So I created it, and I thought that the experiences that I had was enough. But no, I needed a couple more years to put myself through certain kind of things that I could tell you that the 10 laws of accountability is right and exact. So today we're going to talk about you get what you put in. What does that mean? So you get what you put in, reality check. If you look around your life, the spouse that you with, the results that you have, where you're at in life, how you look, that's based on what you put in, right? So how you look is based on what you put in your mouth, right? It's also based on what you put in your ears. It's also based on what you look at. So everything that you take in, data, right? That's why you look the way you look, right? Now, when I was super overweight, it's crazy. I did not know that I looked like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know I looked like that. So I was experiencing an old version of myself. But when I see myself on camera, I'm like, yo, damn, I let myself go, right? And that was based on everything that I was taking in. I had King's disease. I was just everything luxury, a lot of food, a lot of sex, a lot of turn up, a lot of lifestyle. The lifestyle that I asked for, right, was a weight on my shoulder. Because I asked for that. I asked to make money from a laptop. I asked to be traveling. I asked to, a certain kind of lifestyle, right? But the lifestyle that I asked for became a weight. And it showed up in how I looked. You know what I'm saying? Super, super duper overweight, right? But that was based on what I was taking in. It wasn't just food. It was things that I was taking in visually and auditorily, right? I wasn't watching the best things. I wasn't listening to the best things. So that was adding to my weight. So when I lost the weight, a lot of it, that wasn't just food. It was energy. You know what I'm saying? Seeing my mama die, I took that shit in. You know what I mean? Just a lot of things from the past, and the body keeps score, right? So I look the way I look based on what I was putting in, right? Today's message is you get what you put in. So when you're looking at life, you look at your life and you look at everything, the moving parts, who's there, who's not. Are you up? Are you down? How your finances? How's your health? That is based on data. That is based on everything you personally put in, right? Capitalism is a motherfucker. This shit is a beast, but you can play it, right? Based on what you put in, right? What are you on? Are you on Think and Grow Rich? Are you on Rich Dad Poor Dad? Are you listening every day to the money masters on this planet? Because we live in an interesting time where the money masters are talking. The money masters are writing books. The money masters are creating content. Now, that is so ill when you think about it, because historically, people with that kind of energy mentally never talked to people outside of the circle, right? The people in Rome couldn't hear Nero talk. They couldn't hear Marcus Aurelius talk. You know what I'm saying? The kings and the queens and the power structures that have existed on the planet, they didn't talk about how they ruled, right? So a person that was a slave wasn't able to get out of that position, because it's going to take a certain type of knowledge to get you out of that situation. You know what I mean? To rise from being at the lower class or being a slave, it's going to take a certain kind of knowledge to get you out of that, right? So the masters never gave the people at the bottom the keys to get yourself out of that situation. So we live in a time where there's money masters. They're all talking. Not only are they talking, they are passing information. You remember when Clubhouse first started? Like, yo, you would go in these rooms and you would literally hear people talking about exiting businesses. You heard people raising capital. You know what I'm saying? Rounds of capital. And you actually learned how to do a startup, and you learned these people's the structure of it without actually losing millions of dollars. Clubhouse in 2021, bro, that shit was crazy. You know what I'm saying? The conversations that was being had every single day. Yo, billionaires, people making $100 million, people slinging apps. Everybody from Silicon Valley was on Clubhouse in 2021, right? And what did the people do? What did the people do? Right? People turned Clubhouse into what was internally in them, because you get what you put in. So people turned Clubhouse into what was in them already. So Clubhouse was a place where billionaires and millionaires was passing trade secrets, investors, people in real estate, you know what I mean? People that was making moves. The money masters was on Clubhouse. And then what did people do? They turned Clubhouse to a gossiping app, a beef app. Rappers started passing beef, right? They turned it into an exposing app. Now that wasn't once on there, right? That wasn't once on there. And remember, there was kind of like a gatekeeping of Clubhouse. You needed an iPhone, right? So everybody couldn't get on Clubhouse. But once everybody could get on Clubhouse, what did people turn Clubhouse to? They turned it to what was ever in their heart and in their mind, right? You get what you put in, okay? So when a person comes in a room and they change the room, and the room all of a sudden goes from light to low vibration, where did that come from? That's because the people that came in, they have something in them, and that shit came out, right? So every last one of us, when we look at our results in our life, that's based on what's in us that's pushing itself out, right? Because we all got a universe inside of us that we push out of us, right? So everybody that shows up, you know what I'm saying? This new baddie or this new dude that you just met or whatever's going on with you is based on things being inside of you that is pushed out. Because how would you know that person, right? There's some type of resonance that's going on that brings y'all together. Let's talk about resonance, right? What is resonance? The best way I could describe resonance is when a frequency or tone matches, right? That's how I personally believe Stonehenge, the pyramids, all these megalithic structures around the world that they can't figure out how did they move these 5, 6, 7 ton blocks from to and fro. My personal belief is resonance. I believe the people at that specific time had a relationship with stones, the same way we have a relationship in modern day with metal. So I believe the people at that specific time had a relationship with stones. That's why when you look back in the ancient world, everything is about cutting stone super sharply, moving stone around. And it could have been based on the age, because I think each age gives, unlocks a certain spiritual gift that the collective of humanity has. So when you look around the world, you see incredible stonework. And I believe that's because that was based on spiritual resonance at the time where people were able to move big ass shit, but not labor through labor. I believe the more we started laboring, that spiritual gift went away, right? So now our spiritual gift is labor. You know what I'm saying? It's a spiritual gift and a curse because you can take advantage of labor. Look at the diaspora, look at sweatshops and stuff like that, right? So for this, there's that. So resonance, okay? So resonance, my personal belief, is how people move big ass stones in the ancient world. Resonance still exists, but it's different, right? Or it's the same. We just got to tap into it. I don't think it's our primary gift like it was before. So I think we do resonance right now. We do resonance right now by what's in us, right? So today's topic is law 2, you get what you put in. The environment, the people that surround us, car we drive, the education that we have, everything is based on tune and frequency, right? I know that this shit is real because when I'm fasting, things is different. You know what I'm saying? My material world is different when I'm fasting. And the longer the fast goes on, right? The more that this material realm is super different. And that's because of resonance. What am I putting in? So I'm on a juice fast or just drink of water. The juice that's being blended is sunlight, right? That's plants and fruits. So that's nothing but water and sunlight, right? So my material world starts to tune to the inner world, resonance. My hand-eye coordination is hella different too. I don't need much sleep. It seems when I'm fasting, the environment tends to slow down or I slow it down, right? When I'm on sugar and I'm on starch, I notice my problem solving is different. I notice that I'm more in my emotions, right? The way that I process information is different. When I'm eating food, I'm more likely to take something personal, right? When I'm eating fried food or real heavy, I notice that I don't process information a certain kind of way, but also at the same time, my gut is not processing the food a certain type of way. So resonance, my gut and my body is not processing that chicken a certain like it's supposed to. It got aspartame, it got MSG, it got hella shit on it. So resonance, right? So my digestive system is not processing the food a certain type of way, which is information. And then I'm not processing conversations a certain type of way, which is information, resonance. You get what you put in, right? So if you have a relationship or your finances or your environment or things in the material world, if you're not feeling it, it is based on resonance. Something that you're putting in is affecting what you're pushing out, right? So, how do you know the things you're going through is what you say it is? How would you know, right? How would you know that right now you're unlucky? Or how would you know that you're dealing with a narcissist? Or how would you know that you're being treated unfairly? How do you know what that person said to you at the market today is racist? How do you know? What's your evidence of that, right? How would you know when your resonance is off, right? And you're only experiencing what you put in, right? So technically, based on what you put in, aren't you supposed to be experiencing a bad day? Why wouldn't your day go like that? What have you put in to be a firewall to make sure that your day goes any differently than it's been going? Right? When my mind snapped some months back, when I go back and I do an audit, I have to look at the things what was I putting in? Not just at that time. This shit started years ago, and it just caught up to me then, to the point where I just couldn't, literally, if you imagine a rubber band, that's what my mind did. Boom. This shit just went, right? But what was I putting in all those years, yo? A lot of stimulus. You know what I'm saying? Not just my own stimulus. You got nature and nurture. You know what I mean? I had read hella books. It was hella documentaries. It was hella multiple personalities I was dealing with, right? So what was I putting in that was stopping me from having that kind of situation, right? Naturally, my mind plucking the way that it did, based on what I was putting in over the years, that's kind of the natural, not kind of, that makes sense on how that happened. Too much pressure. The rubber band was being stretched way too far. And boom, then I was walking the highway, right? So you get what you put in, right? The laws of accountability is about supreme accountability, that nothing has power over my outcomes except me. I got here because of me. What have I done? What have I done to put myself in this situation, right? That's the framework that the 10 laws of accountability is. The situation I'm in, how did I get here? Oh man, but my relationship is trash. Okay, how did I get here? Oh man, the kids is acting a donkey. Puh, how did I get here? Look at my bread, I'm behind on bills. How did I get here? And it's not just today. It's not just shit that's going on right now. The bills that you may be behind, this shit happened 3-4 years ago with certain decisions and behavior that was made. You know what I'm saying? When you got your income tax, did you put your foot on the gas? Or did you run through the 5 bands real quick? You know what I'm saying? When you got up, did you put your foot on the gas, or did you look at being up like, ooh, I just want to be comfortable? We hear that a lot, right? I just want to be comfortable, right? And you hear it so much that you act it out. We all do. I know I do. Act it out at the wrong time. Because think about this, bro. Unless you a real trust fund baby, unless you really, really, really got a sack somewhere chilling, even if 10 bands, 20 bands hit your account right now, you ain't really up, bro. You ain't really up. Think about how the money spends now. When I was a little kid, there was legit penny candies, bro. And I went to the corner store. Remember living in Baltimore, I take $1 and get 99 pieces of candy with $1. So in my lifetime, I have seen my dollar, the dollar, get less and less shit. You know what I'm saying? When you was a kid, $1, you get 4 bags of chips and they all filled to the top. You know what I mean? Or 2 bags of chips, a Star Crunch and a zebra cake, little hoe. You know what I'm saying? Now, that same bag of chips, man, there's barely any Funyuns in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing but air at the top. So what changed? They removed the chips out of the bag, same exact bag from when we was little. They removed the chips out of the bag because the dollar ain't worth the chips coming to the top. You know what I mean? So you, instead of 20 chips, you getting 7 chips because the dollar, that's what it's worth, right? So when you catch a lick, or you get that small life insurance policy because somebody passed away, or you go through a divorce and you get some, you know what I mean, a little stimulus or something, wherever your income is coming from, the moment that you see that shit hit your account, that's when you're supposed to turn it into overdrive. Not go to sleep, not take a vacation, not like, oh yeah, I'm good. If you take any breaks, it's to figure out what to do with this bread or to figure out what's the next move. But not leisure though, right? Not leisure. And I think for real, maybe we all got a little drunk on Abraham and Esther Hicks and the manifestation shit. There's truth in it. But depending on your background, bro, like, manifest, yeah. But you gotta go. Let me know if you can hear me. A call just came in. You gotta go. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go, bro. You know what I mean? Don't take your foot off the gas when the bread hit. You know what I mean? Everybody about to get income tax. Bro, you not up. That's only 5, 6,000. That's only 5, 6, 7,000. You not up. You know what I'm saying? So what we do, the money hits or little stimulus hits, and then we take it easy. Can't, yo. Cause that shit, that 15,000 only gonna spend like 8. You're gonna get 8,000's worth for your paper. You know what I mean? But you get what you put in, right? It's very hard to accept at first that the life that I'm living and the people that's around me and the results that I'm getting is based on things that I put inside of me. right? Yo, when we doom scrolling online, we are putting stuff in us. It has to play out somewhere, bro. This is not just keying at information from Tasha K, bro. What's going on? The same way, if me and you go back to back and we taking shots of alcohol, right? Doesn't that change our behavior? You know what I mean? My tone get a little louder. I know when I'm getting it in, I might start talking a little loud. I get a little loose. You know what I'm saying? I get more loose, bro. I start feeling myself. I start talking louder, right? I get a little loose, get a little flirty. I start popping it, right? Because what I put in has now affected the way that I'm showing up. It's called spirit, so it's an energy. So now what I have taken in is affected what's coming out of me, right? My language is different. Everything is different, right? Okay. Now that's food and drink that does that. You know, when you get the itis, you know what I'm saying? You eat something, that shit banging. Red velvet cake, and now you sleepy as hell. It feel like you just did snorted some dope, and now you laid out, right? And that drug has an effect on how you're acting, but the food is a drug too. Sugar is a drug, right? Okay. So if the food and drink affects our outcomes, how we're behaving, why wouldn't content, right? Because where is the toilet bowl for the things that you listen to? And where is the toilet bowl for the things that you see? Your behavior is the toilet bowl. You know what I'm saying? So just like you got to go to the stool, you have bowel movements from food and drink, where it's the same way listening to things and watching things, right? So when you look at life, yo, it's very possible that the outcomes that you have is based on the content that you watch. And you know what I mean? A lot of times we don't think that shit is related, but it's all connected. You know what I mean? Because if a bad food diet, bad nutrition creates inflammation, if it creates an obese body, then what does bad content do? What does gossip do? What does anger do? What does holding grudges do? If that shit, the food creates that kind of ecosystem with the body, why wouldn't everything else, right? So what if you got the relationship dynamics you have based on your diet? What if you would have never met that guy or girl if you was eating differently? Now, we don't tend to think these kind of things are related, but this is resonance though, right? So if I'm in the club, right? If I'm in the club and my body is full of sugar and starch, okay, who's gonna come up and talk to me? Yeah, of course, somebody that's a vegetarian and shit like that might come and talk to you, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about getting a different outcome that's more favorable. Because if ancient people was able to move the stone based on resonance and put it exactly where they want, then if I'm tuned up a certain kind of way, I should get the relationship exactly what I want and how I want. I should be able to move it a certain type of way. I should be able to move the job a certain kind of way because of resonance, right? So my ability to move this reality is affected by what I'm eating, not just nutritionally based on food, but it's also based on what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, because I push my world out of me and then experience it, right? So the hard thing to first come to terms with that, yeah, this is one of our laws of accountability. Holy shit, everything is my fault. I control my diet, bro. I control what I'm looking at. So the new form of nutrition in this world is based on your scroll. I believe that our new diet, the way we was growing up, they had the food pyramid. I believe that our diet now has changed. Of course, food and stuff like that, you know, but I believe now our diet is based on content. Our diet is based on information, right? Do you notice when you're scrolling on Instagram, Twitter, all the platforms, how come you can't stop? Have you ever noticed that? It's called doomsday scrolling. I notice when I'm doing it, bro, my thumb just, it don't stop. And I notice when I take the apps on my phone, trying to have a little phone detox, my muscle memory is always grabbing my phone because it might be a new Summer Walker update. You know what I'm saying? Finesse 2 times and Offset is having words. You know what I mean? The memes that was about Offset when Cardi was fucking with Stephon Diggs or whatever, that shit was funny. So I need my hand keeps going to my phone. How is that not an addiction? You can't stop it, right? And I've been a big drug user in my life. I know about addiction. How is the way that we engage with social media not an addiction? It's the same exact shit. You can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? When you go to the bathroom on break at work, you hop on your phone. When you sit down at dinner at night, you're supposed to be chopping it up with your kids, seeing how their day at school went. You can't even really listen because you're on your phone. How is that not addiction? And again, I've been a big time drug user, cocaine, Molly, regular ecstasy, edibles, you name it, right? And the thing with cocaine, you chase it. So me, I just don't do one line. I'm running through the whole sack, line after line after line, because you chase the high, right? So how is social media any different? The way you chase the high by video after video after video. Same dynamic, but we don't look at scrolling as an addiction the same way as drugs are, the same way as sugar is. But it most certainly is though. Same behavior, bro. Take the apps off your phone and watch what your hand do. Look at your muscle memory used to grabbing your phone anytime it's silent. Sometimes when you whipping and you look over at the red light, somebody is looking at they social media page at the red light in traffic, right? How's that not an addiction? It is though. You feel me? It most certainly is. So addiction has an effect on resonance. Now, when I believe they was moving the stones in ancient times, I do believe they was on something, right? To help that resonance. But it's not the shit that we on, right? Because when you drunk, high, or whatever, what do you get, right? What usually shows up? Typically somebody to fuck on or something like that, but it's oftentimes not the best day of your life. Many times, when you high as shit, you lose things. You lose your keys. You lose your relationship. Depending on what drug you on, you lose your fucking mind. You know what I mean? So we're gonna hit the block again one more time. So resonance, right? So you get what you put in based on resonance, right? So if you take an audit about and look at your life right now, take full responsibility of the outcomes. As uncomfortable as it is, trust me, the thing about accountability, that shit make you squirm. See, nobody can actually hold you accountable unless they can like affect your money, affect your freedom and shit like that. So a lot of times when we talk telling people we're holding them accountable, no, you're not. You don't. To hold somebody accountable, you need power. You need power to affect their day to day. So a conversation is not holding somebody accountable. So unless somebody can actually have power over your outcomes, they ain't holding you accountable. It's just a conversation. Now, being held accountable by yourself, bro, because you're in your body. Having that conversation with yourself of like, yo, I'm the weakest link of my life. Man, that shit stings, yo. That does not feel good at all. Like, I'm the weakest link in my life. I am totally in the way of my own goals. These outcomes that I have are my fault. Come on, man. That shit not sexy. We live in a victim world. This shit can't be my fault. Why my shit is this fucked? That's the world that we live in, right? So supreme accountability, taking full control over your life, over your day-to-day and how this shit looks, man, that shit's uncomfortable, man. It feels like you sitting in an electric chair, yo. Right? But that's what's necessary in order to actually make real change in your life. You know what I'm saying? So you get what you put in. So when you get a chance, you got some time for yourself to do some real homework, like look at all of your diet, what you watch, what you listening to, what goes in your mouth. Not just that, where do you be at? Because your pores are open too. So you got the energy of food going into your mouth. You have data coming into your ears and your eyes. And then you have data also going into your pores, right? Just like the same way as you sweat out the lotion sometimes. You know what I mean? Or if you put like deodorant on. Notice everything you put in your body comes out. Everything, right? We only look at shit and piss as the only thing that's coming out, but not really. A lot of times when you sweating, that's all the damn lotion and shea butter you got on your damn ass. You know what I mean? Putting on deodorant. All the stuff that we put on and in our body comes out. Everything, right? So we got stuff going in our mouth. We got stuff going through our eyes, what we're watching. We got stuff going in our ears. We got stuff coming in our pores, right? And then we got stuff from when we fucking too. All of this is related. All of this shit is related. If you're honest with yourself, what does your life look like when you're fucking certain people? Keep it real. Man or woman, straight or gay, right? You cannot tell me that that's not related. How does your life look by who you're fucking? How's your life look? Now, you can live in a big house. You can have a nice car, right? That's one measurement. But I'm talking about your actual day-to-day, the way you show up as a person. You can't tell me who you fuck doesn't have a certain outcome on your day-to-day, bro. We're getting each other's energy. I don't have to have a lot of money, but if I got a poverty vibe on me and I'm fucking you and I'm talking to you and you talking back, you really believe you don't pick up none of my vibe? I'm fucking something in you and you are fucking something on me. I'm in you and you're on me. Right? Because this is all nutrition. This is all diet. So I'm putting something in you, you putting something on me. The same as the food. The same as what we're watching, what we're listening to. How is this all not related? It sure is, yo. So when you look at the results of life, you got to look at everything, bro. You got to look at everything. All this shit is connected to each other. Why is my money fucked up? Why is my household fucked up? Why is my kids jumping off the rails? Why am I having bad interactions with people when I go outside? How come when I go outside, people not trying to give me things? You know what I mean? Why am I not coming back in the house with more than what I left? How come my ability to learn new things is like being blocked? What am I putting in me that has me getting these outcomes? Right? Because I am only experiencing myself, bro. So what is going on? And that's the audit that you have to take. Myself, all of us, when you look at your results. Right? The joke's on you. Why? What are you doing to get those outcomes? What are you putting in yourself to get the outcomes that you have? Because we are constantly pushing the world that's in us. We are constantly pushing that world outside of us. The man that you have in your life came from inside of you. The woman that you have in your life came from inside of you. If that relationship was once fire and it's stale, regardless of what they're doing, that came from inside of you. Because how could you be experiencing it? Y'all was once cool and you not cool. Okay, well, what did you put in that shit? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What happened to me, bro? What happened? How did that happen? So you got the food, you got what we listening to, we got what we're eating, well, that's the food. We got our sexual experiences. We got all those things that's coming into us and that's pushing the world out. You know what I'm saying? So then I got to sit at the table and go through all the stuff. What kind of content am I listening to? What kind of things am I listening to? Right? And to answer your question, Shar, I'm talking about it. How does it go from net neutrality to what I'm talking about? I was putting the wrong things in me. That's how. Right? For years and years and years. And it catch up to you and it has to come out. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened, this came out of me in the last year and some change. It came out of my mama when she was 60-something years old. That's how she was laid out on the floor. You know what I mean? So everything that when she passed away and all she had was to show for herself was shit, nothing for real. All of my mama's belongings went into a little bag, a little plastic bag. Why? Everything that was in her came out. It comes out of all of us just at different times. Hello again, what's up? So if you got a microphone, it's gonna come out of you and people can hear a shift in your words. If you don't have a microphone, people will notice a shift in your behavior. But something happens to all of us from the things that we take in. It pushes out. So the people that we have, the money that we have, the job description that we have, you know what I'm saying? So if you've been listening to me, so as a student, you apply that to anyone. So if 1 minute I'm talking about this, and then the next minute I'm talking about that, turn your student hat on. Okay, how does that happen? What's inside the individual at this specific moment that there's a shift? There's a shift in the content. There's a shift in how they showing up. There's a shift in what I'm typically used to hearing from the individual. You don't look at it from a judgment perspective. You look at it from a scientist perspective and investigate of, because we're talking about states. So clearly, when a person is talking, they're in a state, right? So how did he or she go from, well, in this case, you're talking about me. How does this person go from, I heard them here, and now I'm hearing them here? So you take a step back, you say, well, damn, what's going on with this individual's gut, right? Is there any parasites in the body? See, a lot of times when we assess people, we kind of do it, we don't necessarily do it from the realm of a student, because the reason why that's important, because that makes us always keep our eye on ourselves. Because whatever you see me show up as, you're capable of the same thing. And whatever I see you show up as, I'm capable of the same thing based on the ingredients that is going in us in our life. You know what I'm saying? So we're all capable of the same shit. When you see somebody crashing out outside, we tend to be like, yo, look at them. Yo, you could do the same thing, bro. Whatever they're crashing out on, that shit is in you. It's in all of us. You know what I mean? So, resonance, right? What is going inside of us that is producing the outcomes and the things that we're getting in our life, you know? And it's not just what's happening now, it's a culmination of the years catch up to you. You know what I'm saying? These years catch up to you. The body has wear and tear. So does the mind, so does the heart. Shit got a lot of wear and tear. You know what I mean? And this the thing. Some of us crash out. I have, like, oh, just go crazy. Just because you're stable on your job for all these years, don't mean you're well. Think about it. You've been at a job for 15 years. How much has your pay changed? You're able to do something you dislike for that long, but you had other dreams and you think you're well? You're numb as fuck. Thanksgiving after Thanksgiving looks the same. Same shit. Hey, where you getting? Where you go? I'm coming to your house. You coming to my house. Christmas come around. It looks the exact same way as it did last year. Easter come around. 4th of July come around. Labor Day come around. Memorial Day come around. You know what I'm saying? Everything looks the same, right? And you're able to do that 10, 15, 20 years, relationship dynamic looks the same every year, that's a crash out. It's just in a different way. Because when you was a girl, a young girl, you had different dreams. When you was a young boy, you had different dreams. This wasn't your dream. This wasn't your ideal life. So how are you people living a life 10, 15, 20 years, and it's basically Groundhog Day. Every holiday the same, your intimacy's the same. Every year is the same year. The year just changes, but the behavior stays the same. How are you well? You just contained. So someone else might just go fucking crazy, but you're going crazy as well. It's just internal. How do we know? Look at your skin. Look at your weight. Look at your diet. You have been a robot your entire fucking life. You're not well. You're not well at all. Because this wasn't the plan. So how did you get on this, right? So we get what we put in. You know what I mean? And that's a hard thing, yo. You look at these kids. Oh, these kids are bad. What you put in them. Not just what did you put in them. During your parenting journey, what did you put in you? Right? I had seen online these little babies, because that's what they are, right? Babies in Chicago beat the hell out of this pregnant lady, right? And everybody, again, when they look at something, it's so non-scientific. It's, oh, them kids need their ass beat. Oh, it's based on the parents. Bro, that's the easy. Yo, everybody says the same shit. Oh, the kids need their ass beat. They just did violence. Okay, so your answer for them is violence? That's probably why they got like that in the first place. So that just tells you where our mind be at. Those babies did violence, so to heal them and fix them, let's also be violent with them. Okay, they're probably acting out violence. That's already from the environment. Anyway, it was such a crazy video because this lady is pregnant. And they going to town on her. Not just how they're going to town, how they're talking to her, right? Okay. So I'm not just going to say something like that starts at home. I'm going to go deeper than that. During the parenting journey, what did the parents not put in their children, but what did they put in themselves this whole time them babies was, right? Because you're pushing a world out. So the way your children are showing up is based on what's inside of your body. What's in your body, in your mind, that you are pushing out, and now them children are acting out the world that's inside of you. What are you putting in you, right? What books have you read since your children were young? What skills did you learn? What environmental changes have you went through and you push that world out and now your children show up? You know what I'm saying? So that it's not just it starts at home. Those are judgments. Well, I would have did this. It ain't about that. What are we looking at? Study this, and you do this by taking an audit on yourself. I know exactly how them babies got like that, right? Because when I'm on bullshit, that got an effect on my child. So I know exactly how them babies got like that. I know by studying myself. Because when I'm on bullshit, that has an effect on my child, even if I think I'm showing up righteous. When I'm eating fucked up, that has an effect on my child, even if he don't eat what I eat. I'm pushing my world out. And I'm the master. He hasn't came to the same place of alchemy as me, I'm the master. So no matter what he's on, I'm able to push a more dominant world out than him because I'm more mental than he is. I've been at the craft for longer, right? When I'm fasting, my child is different. He is. And not only is he different, everybody around me is different. Just by me fasting, you could be eating bacon, but just by me fasting, I'm going to get a different thing out of you than how you're going to show up with someone else. Resonance, right? So when you're looking at them babies jump that lady, she was young. The first thing we do is judge. We say what we would do and that's why I got my ass whooped. That like, listen to how that sounds. So getting your ass whooped made you into a good person? No, it just scared you not to do certain shit. That didn't actually give you a moral code. That didn't actually help you see the world in a different way. It just it beat fear into you for you not to do shit, but you don't know why you shouldn't do that though. You wasn't taught cause and effect. You wasn't taught that if I do this, it could lead to that. You just got your ass beat. And they said, because I said so. You ain't more official. You can't say, well, because when we was young, we got our ass beat. First of all, them people wasn't that far away from a slavery experience in a plantation. How could they have the fucking answers? They didn't even have words to say I love you. They just beat your ass. You don't know why you beat your ass, because you cut up at school. Yo, could it possibly be that I don't learn like this? No, it can't be that, right? Go there, sit down, do what the fuck I told you, right? Could it possibly be that the teacher's going through a divorce and they bring their problems to work? No, it can't be that. It just, I'm a bad kid. You see what I'm saying? So from a scientist perspective, you got to put all the shit at play. Why is my son or my daughter showing up like this? And you have to put everything on the table. It's not just because they're bad. What are they eating? What do they watch? What kind of music y'all listen to in the car? What kind of experience do they have on the bus going to school? Everything is connected. What's going on, bro? Everything is connected. You see, when we look at the economy, we look at all the sectors, real estate, energy, transportation. We look at everything, right? But when it comes to us, we settle on one thing. Oh, it's because my man is narcissistic. That's it? That's it. Right? It's not the fact that you have a narcissistic man. It's the fact that you might got parasites in your body. How do I know? From studying myself. That's just one thing, right? So when I get out my feelings, right? When I go crazy and I be in my feelings, that's me burning the house down because I need to see it. I do that with everything. I go absolutely, boy, if I had a camera on me, like a lot of times people see me show up and I'm clean and shit like that. Yo, when I deconstruct some shit, I light a match, like seriously, right? And then when I'm done crashing out and doing all that shit, then I get back to student mode of like, And when I get back to student mode, I get right back to myself. I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's me, yo. Whatever I'm experiencing, I'm not putting the right things inside of me. I'm not putting the right thought systems inside of me. I'm looking at things in a bad way. You know what I mean? Even if what I'm saying or what I'm looking at, it is what it is, there's another way to look at it, right? I don't have to take it personal, even if it's personal. I don't have to look at it fucked up, even if it's fucked up. So if I don't have the ability to reframe how I'm interpreting something, then I know the right shit is not inside of me. Because the power of reframing is very important, because when we experience something in our life, it's important that we have the ability to say like, what would it take for this experience to be a great experience? And it'd be like, yo, auntie just died. Yeah, I know that. I got it. Yeah, I know. Or your friend just died. Yeah, I know. But what would it take for this experience to be a great experience? Right? Because I could look at this fucked up experience as a positive. I could begin to look and reframe and look at all the shit that I learned from the individual. I could begin to look at all the shit that I felt from the individual, what they taught me. And I could look at their death as a homecoming. Or I could look at the shit as a fucking tragedy. Right? So not having the ability to reframe is based on what's inside of us at the time. Everything carries an energy. All the things that go into us carry an energy. You know what I'm saying? So your ability not to reframe something is based on everything that's coming inside of you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just food. You know what I mean? It's things that we watch. It's things that we listen to. It's conversations that we have. It's the environment that we're in. We're taking in data from the mouth. We're taking in data from sex. We're taking in data from what we're listening to. We're taking in data from what we watch. We're taking in data from the environment that we're in. You know what I mean? All things that come in the body must come out. The same way as what goes up must come down. Look at yourself like that. Whatever's going on right now, just know it must come out of you. When you're being a fat ass, you know you're going to shit, right? You know this, right? You know me, we grown. That's natural. Right? You know, sometimes when you use the bathroom, you can smell yourself and you're like, ugh, that's what you ate. That's with every single thing. Right? When I was coming up, all the movies, Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, right? It was heavy on the Italian movies and the hood flicks, right? I promise you, when people saw Menace to Society, old dog turned the hood out. People was acting out that fucking movie. You know what I mean? People wanted to be from LA. You know what I'm saying? People was mimicking a culture that was genociding themselves. Do you know what I mean? Based on a movie. What we saw from Menace to Society and New Jack City started to come out of the people, to where people started naming their street names Nino. You started naming yourself characters from a movie. You know what I'm saying? You started Lil Wayne album is The Carter. You know what I mean? The Carter was the spot that Nino and G Money set up, even though that's his last name, but still there's a relationship to some drug shit, to some street shit. Why? Because what we're looking at must come out, right? What we're hearing must come out. Who I'm sleeping with must come out. You know what I'm saying? There's excretion in everything. All the things, we are sponges. All of the stuff that we go through must come out of us. So this is why we get, the second law of accountability is we get what we put in. Right? That second law is the answer to some things that are going on in my personal life. Like, wait, time out. Let me get back in the driver's seat. I get what I put in. Right? If I'm hurt about some things, okay. I put in some things somewhere to get what I'm hurt about. Right? If the money is funny, there's something that I put in to fuck my money up. Because money is resonance. It's not real. It's called currency. We know, right? So if the money is not coming to me, then what is coming out of me that's pushing money away? Why do I think I need to work harder to get it, right? But I'm not paying attention to how hard I am working, pushing it away. The reason why a lot of times we got to work harder for money is because we're pushing it away. And then it crosses itself out. So you're working harder to try to get it, but you also pushing it away. You know what I'm saying? Because the money is responding to something that is inside of us. You know, on TikTok, they be like, there's no ethical billionaires. The money doesn't care how you treat people. No. Money is its own relationship. You can be cruel as fuck, right? It don't matter. The money is not alive. It's what we feel about it. So I can hate your fucking guts and getting rich because I don't hate the money. I just hate you. I don't like you. I don't like your hood. I don't like your race. I don't like your gender. Me having a messed up relationship with human beings does not affect how you are with money. So being a nicer person to people, that shit can still have you poor. That doesn't mean shit. That don't mean you're gonna get money because you're loving light. Some of the nicest people are broke. And some of the most fucked up people in terms of sociology, they got all the bread. Why? Because they have a different relationship with money. We think that I have to change my relationship with people and then I'm gonna get money. Not exactly. They're not related to each other, right? And they only becomes intertwined when I figure out how to market to people. Now that's my relationship to people in marketing and shit in business. But I don't have to be nice to you to get money. And you don't have to be nice to me to get money. Money is based on systems, right? So the most powerful people in the world have a relationship with systems. They might not have a relationship with people, and they don't need it. They actually don't need it. You know what I mean? Because what they are putting in, they're going to see performance coaches. They're doing like NLP. They're doing things to clear out any kind of blockages that would affect the energy towards the economy, right? So when the most powerful people in the world go see shrinks, they're not doing that to have a better relationship with you or me. They're doing that to have a better relationships with the systems that they're connected to. So even when they might show up back to work and it seems like they're jolly and giving everybody raises and shit like that, it's not because they like you. It's because that this energy flow this is what's needed to perform in the system better. So I got to release some of this energy I have. So fuck it. Everybody gets a raise. That raise is not about you. It's about them. Right? Oh man, Mr. Such and Such seems nice today. He patted me on the back. That's not about you. That's about him. He's doing something to have a better relationship with the system. He will still fire your dumb ass. So you get what you put in. The second law of accountability is very important because sometimes we don't know why our life looks the way it does. And I can't speak on like the Congo and shit like that. Different laws apply to places like that. But I'm talking about to a place that prints money, and I'm in a place that pretty much everything we want, there's an abundance of it. Like, if you want to be a serial dater, There's an abundance of people to date in America. If you want to get money, there's an abundance of it because we print it. You want to drive 1,000,000 cars, there's an abundance of it. You want to own hella homes, there's an abundance of it. Even if you think there's no land for sale, it sure is, right? You want to eat hella food, there's an abundance of it. We live in a country where what we are into, there's an abundance of the shit, right? So if the only part of that is what you of our system and the abundance that you tap into is food and drama and reality shows and bullshit, then that has everything to do with what's inside of you. Because there's also an abundance of money. How come you can't get it? How come I may be tripping over it? There's abundance of land. How come you don't got none? How come I don't have none? There's an abundance of homes. If that's what you want, how come you don't got more than one? Right? There's an abundance of everything in America, but how come many people only have one part of it? You're eating the abundance of food, consuming the abundance of content. You have the abundance of mental illness, the abundance of stress and drama, the abundance of fucking high sugar levels, right? So we have the abundance of all that. But then at the same time, look at what happened with the SNAP benefits. And people genuinely was like, yo, I need that shit, right? No judgment, no shade, right? But I need the government to step in because I don't have the right things in me to get off of the government. So the fact that the government has to step in for food, the government, it's its own lodge. These are also witches. So when they stimulate that SNAP card every month and we go and spend it, and I've bought stamps before and grew up on food stamps too, but peep it though, what energy you think is on it? You think it's just free food? No, you pay a price for that shit, right? There's an entity that's created when the government gives you some shit for free, right? So you're not just going to the market to spend that food. These witches would not give you nothing for free without the exchange of something, fam. There's an energy on it that consumes you. This is why oftentimes when you have SNAP benefits or you get shit from the government, you never create the thing inside of you to get off this shit, right? So to you, it's like, I need this or whatever. It's consuming you. It fucks up your hustle because you start counting it for next month too. And it strips you of creativity to create your way out of that shit and into another space. These witches and occultists would not just give away free money. Bro, there's something they want in exchange. And in exchange for SNAP benefits, and in exchange for free shit, they take your soul, right? They take your ability to create, right? They take your ability to innovate in exchange for the $400, $500 every month, right? And it takes a real strong force to come out of you to get off that shit once you're on it. You don't have to believe me, but just think about how many people on it that you know. What are they trying to create? What are they creating? What are they innovating on? Right? They've been on it for years. And they're on it like that because they don't know no better. And they don't know that they're actually doing business with witches that have contracts for that shit. not just free money. They want something in return. And they get it too. It's your energy. Because I've been on food stamps. And I bought stamps and sold them. Right? And I'm like, I'm hustling, ooh, ah, wah. That shit was affecting my hustle, bro. Right? All of this is about you get what you put in. So take a paper and go through all the areas of your life, right? First write down what's coming in you. Go from your relationship, right? Remember, during sex, the man is putting something in the woman is putting something on the man. So you start there, the person you're sleeping with, then you go to what you're eating, then you go to what you're watching, then you go to what you're listening to, and then you go to the environment, right? Start there. Put down everything and be honest. This is your personal audit and your personal homework, right? Then look at your outcomes, right? So look at the stuff that you put in you and then look at what comes out of you. And then you decide for yourself, are these outcomes the outcomes that I want for myself? And if the answer is yes, then continue to do what you're doing. Continue to put the same things in you so you can get those outcomes. Now, there's one part of that. Because if the answer is yes, you like the outcomes. Now you have to do another thing. Do you want more than those outcomes that you have? So it's two parts. If you like the outcome, then keep doing what you're doing. If you don't, then completely stop and pivot. But then the other part is, do you want more than that? Because if you want more than what you have, then you're going to have to change the stuff that's coming in you too, right? It's not necessarily a negative thing, but if you want more than what you're taking in your body, it's not going to get you that. It's only going to get you what you've been having, right? So now you're going to have to take some different things in because you want more, right? And 9 times out of 10, if you want more than what you already have and you are happy with the results, 9 times out of 10, the things that you take in is going to be less than before, but it's just going to be more heavier. So now you'll get more narrow, right? So instead of 10 things you take on, you probably start eating the same things over and over. You know why? Because you don't want to think about making plates. So you need to cut down your time of how you prepare food. So now you start eat the same thing. You might start wearing the same color over and over because what you're focused on, you know what I'm saying? You don't got time to be picking out your clothes. You don't got time to be figuring out what you eat because you're getting real narrow. You know what I'm saying? So if you want more, then most likely you're going to get narrow on the things that's coming inside of you that you're taking in, and you're going to kind of probably minimize your time on things that get in the way of you trying to change the outside of you. Like looking for shit to eat, preparing food and stuff, doing the dishes and looking for shit to wear. Like we got a lot of filler time in the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what? How about I just buy nothing but t-shirts, white and black, and just have that shit out every night before I go to work in the morning or whatever I'm doing. I need to minimize my time where I'm looking for something to wear. I probably need to eat the same shit over and over again because the 20, 30 minutes it takes to find something to eat and then prepare it, I don't got time for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you want more, right? So if you want more and you're already happy with the results you have, but you just want to 10x that, most likely you're going to get real narrow. You're going to get real narrow. You know what I'm saying? Because to jump a tax bracket, it's going to take a different mindset. You know what I mean? It seems like Warren Buffett, that's all he does. I seen a documentary of him. You know what I mean? His outside world is big in terms of how, his portfolio and shit. But his life though was very tiny. You know what I mean? Same, he driving the same car, living in the same house. He had he had like 2 girlfriends, I think, or whatever. But and that was probably like, well, they didn't say it on the documentary, but I could tell. But that was probably like the biggest shit that he had going on. And I can understand him having 2 girlfriends, the way that his mind is set up. Like, this person is constantly, he's a genius in his thing. So when it comes to like intimate relationships, he's not gonna see it how a regular person is gonna see it. Like, he needs 2 people to manage him. So he don't gotta worry about his basic necessities, so he can just focus on investing and shit, right? But law 2 of the 10 laws of accountability, and what the 10 laws of accountability is a framework, something that is more personal and intimate about the 48 laws than the 48 laws of power. The 48 laws of power is about other people. Never outshine the master. Conceal your intentions. That shit is about other people and what you do and how you operate with people. The 10 laws of accountability is a personal framework, right? The first law is everything is your fault even when it's not. The second law is you get what you put in, okay? And that's with everything. You get what you put in, you know? What's going on, bro? All right. You get what you put in. You know what I mean? So that's the framework that I have to use for my own personal life. But when I came up with the 10 laws, I had to go live some life in true artist fashion. In true artist fashion, I had to go live some life. And to make sure the things of my 10 laws is not theory. I have implemented every single one and lived it. And I know what it's like to not want to be accountable to yourself. I know what it's like to not want to face accountability. I'm not talking about accountability from the crowd. I'm talking about accountability from yourself. It's extremely painful. Extremely painful, right? And the framework and the way that accountability, the 10 laws of accountability set up is, even if you want to put your results on somebody, you can't. And that's the thing. It doesn't allow you to, right? And even when you make an attempt of trying to put it on your kids, put it on your spouse, put it on your environment, the 10 laws of accountability doesn't allow you to. Because the 10 laws of accountability is an operating system. It's a framework. It is a whole system of thinking, right? That you cannot put nothing in your life on anybody else. And that is a hard weight to carry, bro, because you want to blame somebody. You know what I'm saying? For something. School, my race, my gender, my parents, my kids, my spouse, you know what I mean? The environment. Like, you want to blame somebody. And we live in an environment that massages you when you go to blame someone else. You know what I'm saying? So today was law 2. I started the book a while back, and the current adventures that I've been on, I can definitely go ahead and finish, because in true artist fashion, I have to live my art out. as crazy as chaotic as a lot of this shit was that I had to live out. But in true artist fashion, in true philosopher fashion, you know what I mean? You gotta be your work. If if I don't do nothing else in my life, it's be my work. I have to be my work. You know, I just can't be talking. I have to be the philosophy. I have to be the religion. You know what I mean? I have to live out the art. So when it comes to the first law, everything is your fault, even when it's not. Right and exact. When it comes to the second law, you get what you put in. Right and exact. Because the life that I'm currently experiencing is based on the world that I have pushed out of me. Right? So that's today's Sunday message. And please go ahead and click that like button as I get in the habit of going live again. Like, even me with the algorithm, I used to get more traction in live videos. But why would I get it now when it's not something I've been doing for a minute? You know what I mean? So you get what you put you get what you put in. You know what I mean? So on your way out, make sure you like the video. You want to shoot me a Cash App or something, Can Billion super chat. If not, that's fine too, right? So remember, you get what you put in. So we got what, 30, 40, like 37 days, if that, to the new year. Go through that personal audit, look at the things that you've been putting in, start from what you're listening to, start from what you're watching, go to what you're eating, go to who you uh, are intimate with, and also go to your environment and jot down all the things that come inside of you, right? And then look at your outcomes. And if you're not happy with those outcomes, change the things that's going into you. If you are happy with your outcomes, continue the things that are coming into you. If you are happy with your outcomes and you want more, replace the things that's coming into you with different things, but shrink it down. Now you get narrow. So now you make your things smaller of what comes into you because you want more. So now you're going to have to get narrow, and the things that you are taking into you, it can't be a lot anymore, and it has to be very impactful things. Because to get more and you're already happy with your life, you're gonna have to be super intentional. But this is for the people that don't want to be comfortable. This is for the people that, you know what I'm saying, want to go to the next level. Because to be already happy with your life and to say I want more than what this is and not lose what you have already, because a lot of times we lose trying to get more, but to go to another level, because now to get more in your life, now what you're talking about is human potential, because you already got the car, you already got the house, you already got the spouse, you already got the lifestyle and shit like that. So to get more, now you're talking about human potential. You're talking about some Goggins shit where you want to take your body to a certain kind of level, your mindset to a certain kind of level, your human performance to a certain type of level, right? It's crazy because when David Goggins began to take his human performance to a certain type of level, he started getting a bunch of shit he didn't plan for. That wasn't even the goal, but he just was taking his abilities to such a height that that's the look at the outcomes. So if you're already happy in your life and you want to get more, most likely the more is not anything on the outside. Most likely it's about human performance, and taking your human performance to another level is automatically going to get you some crazier shit. So if you got a crib, you might get a fucking bigger crib. If you already got money, you might get more money without even trying, right? And that's actually a cheat code to get more material shit. I'll say this before I go. The cheat code to actually get more material shit is to go to another level in your human performance with yourself, right? So to go to another level in the gym, and you're gonna get attention you wasn't planning for. You're gonna get opportunities that it wasn't even about that. It just was you was trying to see what you can do. Because if you notice something, the more you perform on a human, like the more you do extraordinary human shit, people it creates a energy where people want to interview you, people want to talk to you. You know what I mean? People want you around. So if you're like, yo, I want to read 200 books this year, when you tell somebody that, it's so interesting they want you around. Or you step up your image and you're not even your mindset is not about money or getting attention from other people, but it comes anyway. So the cheat code just came to that. The cheat code to get more shit than you ever had is to be indifferent to the more shit and to take yourself to a level that you've never been. So that's your fitness, that's your intellect, that's your discipline. So you become indifferent to the outside world and you kind of just turn your back on it and then you wind up getting it. It's crazy because look at David Goggins. He was not trying to get money. He was just trying to conquer some shit in himself. And he took his human ability to such an extent that people want to talk to him. You know what I mean? But you get what you put in. Law 2, 10 laws of accountability. So thank you for helping me work my way back into this live thing. All right. Until the next time.